Hi everyone, Giuliano here. In this video I'll show you how and where to store user preferences or settings when you develop a custom apps in Microsoft 365. There is in fact a very nice special folder called Apps in OneDrive for Business, the personal space of every user. This means that you can save settings of the current user, for example, the theme, if you want to display the app with the dark theme or light theme, or maybe you want to save a user token or any other information related to the current user. I'll show you how to leverage the capabilities of Microsoft Graph API in order to save a JSON file in OneDrive. This means that you can open your app in any device. For example, you can open the app in the Teams desktop and save some settings, open 5 minutes later this app in your mobile device, and you will find always the same settings. Okay, let's move forward and I'll show you every step. And here we go on my PC. I have Microsoft Teams desktop open. I'll show you immediately the final result. I created a new custom app using SharePoint framework, and here I have this new app pinned in the left navigation pane of Microsoft Teams. I will click now on this app so we can demo this application. And here I have this application cross-device user data. So as I explained, the idea here is to save user preferences in OneDrive. So I have here this panel of settings, let's say. We have already some information here. Previously, I already saved some settings. So in the first property, we have which theme do you prefer? This is just an example, of course. I can set light. I want to have a light theme of my application. Then I can change this other property. This is the token. Let's say that I want to have 1, 2, 3. And then we have another preference. Here I will type Office, for example. Now I want to save these user preferences. I will click on the button Save, and now these information are stored in OneDrive, in the personal space of this user, me, Giuliano. Okay, let me jump now in OneDrive and I'll show you that we have exactly this information saved. I will jump here now on office.com. Here I am connected as Giuliano, of course. Then I will click on the button OneDrive. Now I am in OneDrive here, and there is this special folder created called Apps. Let me click on it. Now we have this folder called SharePoint Online Client Extensibility Web Application Principle, because I'm using SharePoint Framework. So SharePoint Framework uses this app principle to interact with Microsoft Graph API, and that's the reason why this folder is created automatically. In this folder, I specify that I want to have another folder called Cross-Device App. In this way, I know exactly where this JSON file is created. I will click now on this folder, and this is the JSON file just created when I click the button Save User Data. I will click now on this JSON file, so in this way we can display every information on this file in the editor. And here we go, we have exactly the information that we saved. We have as preferences theme light, token 1, 2, 3, and preference 1 we have Office. Now I will open the same app on my Android device. So I will open Microsoft Teams, I will tap on More so I can open another app. And here I have my application, cross-device user data. I will open this app. I will have always this panel open, and here I can change some information. For example, I can say dark theme, I can add 4, 5, 6, and here I can tap Teams, for example, as other preferences. Now I will tap again on Save Current User Data. Now this new information are saved in OneDrive through Microsoft Graph API. All I need to do is just to refresh this JSON file, and we should see this new information just saved. Here we go, we have dark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we have preference 1. Here I am now connected as Adele Events. I am on office.com. Before to use the app, I want to show you OneDrive. Opening here OneDrive, we can see that there's no special folder. The folder apps is not yet available. Now I will jump in Microsoft Teams because I have this app available cross-device user data. I will open now this app, and now I can open again OneDrive, and we can see that the special folder is now created. Because when I open the app, first of all, the app tried to get information directly from OneDrive. But the first time that you open the app, the folder, if it does not exist, is created. And it is exactly what it happened right now. So I have now this special folder created. I have here SharePoint Online Client Extensibility Web Application Principle because, as I said before, this app, it's a SharePoint framework application. So opening this folder, we can see that nothing is stored here. Now again, going on Microsoft Teams as Adele Events, I will save these settings. I want to have a dark theme. I will type some number here, and then as a preference, I will type SharePoint. Then click on Save Current Data. And now if I go back on OneDrive, we have now this folder created, cross-device app. Jumping on it, we can see that the JSON file is now created. And opening this file, we can see that Adele Events has saved exactly these preferences, theme dark, this token, and the preference 1 SharePoint. Now I'll start from scratch with a new SharePoint framework solution, and we will follow every step to reach this goal. Let me jump here in the browser because I have this important documentation. I want to highlight before to start this app folder. This is the special folder that you can create in OneDrive. You can find this link in the description of this video. Okay, let's start now to open a new instance of Visual Studio Code. And here we go. Then I will open the terminal, and now I will invoke Yeoman generator in order to create a new SharePoint framework solution. To optimize time, I already created a solution using Yeoman generator. If you want to check also this step, you can click in the top right corner in this other video that I made. Now I am ready to open this solution. I will click on File, Open Folder, and under Solutions, I have this new created application, cross-device user settings. I will open this folder, and here I have my SharePoint framework solution. It's time to walk you through in my code, and I will copy paste the code that I already written. So I have here another instance of Visual Studio Code. I will open it, and then I will directly copy these files that I have in this solution. This is the Hello World component. What I have here is a function component. So I can copy everything here, then I can jump back on this new solution. I will explode source, web part, components, and in Hello World, I will paste my code. Here we go. There is also something changed in the CSS. Then let me go back on the previous solution that we have seen before. I will open the SCSS file. Here I will copy everything, and then I will open again in this new solution the same file, and I will paste this code. So basically here what I have are two classes, row light and row dark, in order to have the theme light and theme dark. That's it. In the component, what I have here is an interface which will contain my settings. So basically the theme, token, and preference 1. Here I have additional variables just to store temporarily this value. So now here we have an error because we have not finished it. We have to change also the hello world webpart.ts file. But before to do it, I'll show you immediately what I have done here. I used React hooks. I'm using React here as framework. So basically here I defined this function in order to tell to the application when settings are changed in order to load new settings. Then we have the set is loading, and this, when the application loads, we can see there is this React use effect, and in this step basically I call the function in order to set user settings, and data is basically what comes through the Microsoft Graph API. First of all, I try to get in the OneDrive space of the user the information stored in the settings.json. When I have this information, basically I set in the UI this information in order to display them to the user. Here we have a spinner as component. I used the Fluent UI framework with all components here. We have the text field, we have primary button, toggle button, and the spinner. So when in the state we have is loading true, basically we see the spinner loading on the page. And when we have the information collected through the Microsoft Graph API, we are able to jump in this other section of this code, and basically I render this part. So I load every component that we have seen before in the page. So I load the text field with the token, the toggle button with the theme, the preference one, and the two buttons in order to save current user data, and the other button to get current user data. That's it. Then we return these classes with the view. More specifically, in the get user data, we use the Microsoft Graph Client Factory. This is the client that comes out of the box with SharePoint framework. Using this, you are able to use this intelligence. You can type on dot and then API. You can specify the endpoint of the Microsoft Graph API that you want to reach. Next, you have to specify the version and then get. In this case, this is the endpoint of my Microsoft Graph API. So I have me drive special uproot, that basically is the apps folder. Then in the folder cross device app, I want to get the JSON file. And then I have to specify in query string also this value, Microsoft Graph download URL, because this is a URL that you have to fetch later in order to read this JSON file. This because we are trying to contact a different domain. So first of all, we have to get a trusted and verified URL, and then we can fetch the data through this URL. Then basically we have a response of our fetch, we get the JSON, and then we have this interface that we have seen before, populated theme, token, and preference one with all data that we need. Finally, I can set this value to these temporary variables, and then I return this interface. And here basically we have the data. Then we can set is the flag set is loading false, and then we display the form with all user settings. Last thing that I want to mention here is the set user data. So when the user fill out the form and click on the button save current user data, basically I call this endpoint of the Microsoft Graph API, me drive special uproot, cross device app, this is the folder, and then always in the settings.json we specify content, and we use the method put in order to save this JSON theme with the value, the token, and preference one. That's it. This is the solution. Now let me open the web part because we have to add additional information. So I will go in the previous solution, hello web part. I will copy everything here as well. Then I will jump on the new solution. I will select everything and then I will paste also this other information. Now there is here a new property that is not recognized, and this is the context. This is the context that comes through SharePoint and Teams in SharePoint framework. And this is absolutely important because with the context, we can use the Microsoft Graph client, so we can consume a Microsoft Graph API endpoint. So now I will jump on the properties. Here we have no context. Then I will have to go back to the application that we have seen, and then we have to add context. And this is the web part context that comes from the library SP web part base. So I will copy everything here. I will go in the new application, and that's it. So we have no error now. It's time to set something in the config file. So going back on the solution and then in config, I'm ready now in the package solution to specify the permission of the Microsoft Graph API. In order to read and write in our personal OneDrive space, we have to add this web API permission. So I will copy this part, then I will go in the package solution JSON of the new application, and then below here I will add a comma and I will add this new attribute. Web app permission request, we have Microsoft Graph files.read-write. I am now able from this solution to consume the Microsoft Graph API. Let's see if everything looks good. I have the CSS here, I have my component and the web part file already saved. Everything looks good. I am now ready to generate the bundle of this application. I can create the package and I will upload this package in my SharePoint app catalog. Now I want to make available this app in SharePoint and Microsoft Teams. And in order to do that, I have to open the webpart manifest file.json. Here there is a property supported hosts. And by default, when you create a new webpart using SharePoint framework, you have SharePoint webpart. Then if you type comma, you can add additional host. So for example, now typing comma, I can add team personal app. Here we go. I have added this additional property, and this means that this app will be available in SharePoint as a classic web part in a SharePoint page and as a Teams personal app. So everything now is done. I can generate my app package. So I will open the terminal now, and here I will speed up this process. I will just type gulp bundle ship because I'm ready to deploy my solution on production. And then gulp package solution. Here we go, all done. Now the app package is created. Here I am now in my SharePoint app catalog. I can click on apps for SharePoint and I can upload this package. Here we go, I am now in the folder of my application, SharePoint solution, and here we go, I have this sppkj file of my solution. Drag and drop. Now I have this pop-up. I can check make this solution available tenant wide. Click on deploy. Last step now is to trust and grant the Microsoft Graph API permission at the SharePoint admin site level. Here I am now in the SharePoint admin center. Under advanced, in the API access, we can see that there is a new item. And here we go. Here we have the package of my app. And here we have the permission that this app needs in order to consume the Graph API. I will select this and then I will approve. This means that now this app can consume the Graph API using this permission. As I mentioned before, I want to make available this app also for Microsoft Teams. I will open the SharePoint app catalog again. Then I will select the application just uploaded. And finally, on top in the tab files, I will synchronize this app in Microsoft Teams. This will automatically deploy this app in Microsoft Teams. Successfully synced Teams solution. Okay, now I can jump in the Teams admin center. Of course, you need SharePoint and Teams admin privileges in order to make all this configuration. Then I will open Teams apps and Setup policies. Here for the global policy. Now here I want to add this new app in pinned apps, so this will be available in the mobile version of Microsoft Teams. Add apps. My app is called Hello World. Add. Click on the button Add, and now is added. I can click on Save, and this app now it will be available in the mobile version of Microsoft Teams as well. It's time to test this new application, so I will open Microsoft Teams now. And here I am in Microsoft Teams. I will click on 3 dots, More Apps, Build for your organization. I have this new app just uploaded. I will click on it, Add, and now this app is just added in the left pane of Microsoft Teams. Here we go. I have now this app that displays the information that we have seen before. Before to interact with this application, we can see in my OneDrive space that this folder, the special folder is created. And here we go. A few seconds ago, I have the folder, the special folder called apps just created. As I said, when you use SharePoint framework, you have this web application principle. Then inside of this folder, there's nothing. That's because I have not yet saved information. So I can set, for example, light. Then I will type just 654. Then here, OneDrive, save current user data. And now if I open OneDrive, and if I refresh OneDrive, we can see that the folder is created, cross-device app, and in the settings JSON we have exactly the information that I saved just some seconds before. This is a really great approach when you have to deal with user preferences. I use it in this demo SharePoint framework, but you can use another simple and custom web app using, for example, the Teams human generator. So then you have to store your web application in some cloud services like Amazon or Azure, wherever you want. And then you have just to follow some steps to integrate this web application in Microsoft Teams, for example. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I think it's very useful in the case when you have to save settings of the user, and these settings must be cross-device available. You can find every link to the documentation how to build this kind of solution in the description of this video, and you will find exactly this SharePoint framework solution on my GitHub for free. Alright, we have seen in this video how to build cross-device apps in Microsoft 365, saving user preferences. If you enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe to my channel to stay tuned with my next videos. Put a comment down below if you want to see me cover any other topics in the future. This is also how I build my to-do list for my next videos. I hope to see you next time. Bye!